Learn English through story. The mysterious seduction. In a secluded valley, far from the bustling cities and prying eyes of the outside world, there stood an ancient manor known as Rosebrook House. It was a grand, imposing structure, surrounded by thick forests and mist-shrouded hills. The locals whispered about the manor, speaking of its beauty with both admiration and fear. It was said that no one who ventured too close ever returned the same, and those who did return spoke only in cryptic words about a seductive presence that lurked within. For centuries, Rosebrook House had remained uninhabited, its grand halls and rooms left to the mercy of time. But one evening, a new figure appeared in the valley, a man named Lucian, a traveler and adventurer by nature. Lucian had spent most of his life in search of forgotten treasures and ancient mysteries. He was a man of great charm and curiosity, and he had come to the valley after hearing rumors of the manor and the legends that surrounded it. As Lucian stood at the edge of the forest, gazing at the manor in the distance, something stirred within him, a strange pull that he couldn't quite explain. He had felt drawn to many places before, but this was different. It wasn't just the allure of the unknown that intrigued him, it was as if something within the house itself was calling to him. He decided to heed that call. The townspeople, upon hearing of his plans to visit Rosebrook House, warned him vehemently. "It's not a place for the living," one old man said, his voice trembling with fear. "There's something in that house. Something that gets inside your mind, your heart. It'll change you." Lucian, however, dismissed the warnings as superstitious nonsense. He had faced danger before. He had seen cursed ruins, battled wild beasts, and outsmarted dangerous men. How could an abandoned house pose any real threat? With his resolve set, Lucian began his journey through the dense forest that led to the manor. The trees seemed to close in around him, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the sun. As he walked, the air grew colder, and the silence of the forest became almost oppressive. Yet, beneath the surface of his growing unease, there was a thrill, a sense of anticipation that sent shivers down his spine. When he reached the entrance of Rosebrook House, the sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving only the pale glow of the moon to light his way. The house, though old and weathered, still held an air of majesty. Its towering stone walls, adorned with vines and ivy, stood against the sky like a dark sentinel. The large wooden doors creaked open at the slightest push, as if welcoming him inside. As soon as Lucian crossed the threshold, he felt the seductive presence that had been calling to him. It was subtle at first, like a faint whisper in the back of his mind. But as he moved deeper into the house, it grew stronger, more insistent. The air inside was thick with the scent of roses and something else, something intoxicating. The interior of the manor was breathtaking. Though time had worn away some of its grandeur, the beauty of the place was undeniable. The grand staircase, the chandeliers, the velvet curtains all spoke of a time long past when the house had been the heart of luxury and decadence. Yet, there was something unnerving about it. Despite its beauty, the manor felt alive, as if it were watching him, waiting for something. As Lucian explored the rooms, he found himself drawn to a particular door at the end of a long corridor. It was slightly ajar, and from within, he could hear the faintest sound of musical haunting, melodic, and seductive. Without hesitation, he stepped inside. The room was a large, lavish parlor, lit by candles that cast flickering shadows on the walls. At the center of the room stood a grand piano, and seated at the piano was a woman. Her back was to him, but her presence was commanding, captivating. She wore a deep red gown that shimmered in the candlelight, and her long, Dark hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall. For a moment, Lucian could do nothing but watch. He had never seen anyone like Hera. There was an otherworldly beauty about her, something that made his heart race and his breath catch in his throat. The music she played was unlike anything he had ever heard before, filled with longing, passion, and sorrow all at once. As if sensing his presence, the woman stopped playing and turned to face him. Her eyes were dark, yet they sparkled with an inner light that seemed to pull him in. Her lips curved into a knowing smile, and when she spoke, her voice was as smooth as silk. "I've been waiting for you, Lucian." He felt a chill run down his spine. "You know my name?" The woman nodded. "Of course, I know many things about you. You've been seeking something your entire life, haven't you? Something more than the fleeting thrills of adventure." Lucian frowned, unnerved by her words. "How could you know that?" The woman stood, slowly approaching him. "I know what you desire. I know the restlessness in your heart, the yearning for something greater, something eternal." He took a step back, feeling the intensity of her gaze. "Who are you?" "I am the spirit of this house," she said, her voice low and alluring. "I am everything you've ever wanted and everything you've ever feared." Lucian's mind raced. The legend spoke of a presence in the house, something that lured people in, but this was far more than he had imagined. He should have been afraid, but instead, he felt an overwhelming attraction to her, as if she were the embodiment of every desire he had ever had. "What do you want from me?" he asked, his voice hoarse. The woman smiled, stepping even closer until she was mere inches away from him. "I want to give you what you seek. I want to show you pleasures beyond your wildest dreams, experiences that will make your past adventures seem insignificant. All you have to do is surrender to me. Let me into your heart, your mind, your soul." Lucian's pulse quickened. The temptation was overpowering. He could feel the pull of her words, the promise of something beyond anything he had ever known. But at the same time, a voice in the back of his mind warned him to resist. Something wasn't right. "What's the price?" he asked, his voice shaking. The woman's smile faltered, her eyes darkening. "The price is simple. You must stay with me here, in this house, forever." Lucian's heart sank. He had been right. There was a trap hidden beneath her seductive words. The life she offered, while filled with pleasure, would be a prison. He would be bound to the house, unable to leave, unable to live a life of his own. He stepped back, shaking his head. I can't." The woman's expression hardened. "You're a fool, Lucian. You've spent your life searching for meaning, for something to fill the void inside you. I can give you that, and yet you turn away?" Lucian felt a surge of anger and fear. "What you're offering isn't life, it's a cage." The woman's eyes flashed with fury, and the air in the room seemed to grow colder. "You think you can just walk away? No one leaves Rosebrook House without a mark." Suddenly, the room began to spin, and Lucian felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. The candles flickered wildly, and the walls seemed to close in around him. The woman's face twisted with anger, and her voice echoed in his mind, filling him with dread. "You'll never escape me, Lucian. I am in your blood now. Wherever you go, I will be there, waiting. You can run, but you can't hide from your own desires." With a final surge of strength, Lucian turned and fled the room. He ran through the dark corridors, the walls seeming to shift and change as he moved. The house was alive, and it didn't want to let him go. But somehow, he found the front door and burst outside, the cold night air hitting him like a slap in the face. He stumbled down the steps, gasping for breath. Behind him, Rosebrook House loomed in the darkness, its windows glowing faintly with an eerie light. The woman's voice still echoed in his mind, but as he put more distance between himself and the manor, the pull began to fade. Lucian didn't stop running until he reached the edge of the forest. Only then did he collapse to the ground, trembling with exhaustion and fear. For days, he wandered the valley, unsure of what to do. The woman's presence lingered in his mind, like a shadow that he couldn't shake. He knew that she had marked him, that no matter where he went, a part of her would always be with him. But he also knew that he had made the right choice. The seduction of Rosebrook House had been powerful, but it wasn't real. It was an illusion, a trap designed to lure him in and take his soul. Lucian had spent his life chasing thrills and adventure, but now he understood that true freedom wasn't found in the pursuit of pleasure. It was found in the ability to choose, to walk away from temptation, even when it was the hardest thing to do. Seduction, whether of the mind, heart, or body, can be intoxicating, but it often hides a deeper danger. True freedom lies not in surrendering to every desire but in having the strength to resist what is easy in favor of what is right. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.